allergic to Alex Jones for whatever reason. Let's look at Ben Swann's coverage from 2017.
Well, Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate it. Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor.
And again, another thing coincidence theorists, they don't have the mental capacity to comprehend is the way plausible deniability works and shills work is either MK Ultra or not, in order to discredit a conspiracy, they get some kind of crazy loon to do something like this and say, see how crazy this theory is because this guy did this, therefore evil people don't exist and don't do this evil stuff. And the goofs just fall for it. All the statist goofs with Stockholm Syndrome, they just believe the idiot box for some reason.
And then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate? And are there any actual facts to support this story? I've got to warn you, what we're going to talk about today.
And that's, again, I actually haven't watched this clip, so I actually don't know what he's going to say. But see, this is how you do a news story, right? Is it fake news? That's perfectly fine journalism. Like, do the actual investigation. Don't declare it fake in it, like from the onset without doing an investigation.
Tonight will be disturbing to some people, but this is a reality check you won't see anywhere else. Pizzagate actually comes from the WikiLeaks release of hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. In all, WikiLeaks dumped around 50,000 email messages, and it was from those emails that the claims that John Podesta may be part of a child sex trafficking ring come from. Now, to be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Self-described online investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles. So how did a DC pizza parlor get pulled into the story? Well, again, read any mainstream report and they indicate that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was somehow linked to this fake story and has no relation to anyone involved. But the truth is that's not true either. What media is ignoring is that the Comet Ping Pong Pizza place is actually referenced in the Podesta emails at least a dozen or so times, and that the owner of that place, James Alfantis, is a friend of John Podesta.
You know what's also insane? Like, how was this not the complete end of mainstream media, fake stream media, whatever you want to call them? Like, once all of this is already out, like, why, like, how does the news have any viewers whatsoever? I mean, why would you trust mainstream news outlets declaring a story false before investigating it and getting every single detail wrong regarding the story? I mean, it's just bonkers.
He was actually named, this is kind of strange, by GQ magazine as one of the top 50 most powerful people in Washington. Yes, we're talking about a pizza parlor owner. Now let's talk facts here. There is no solid evidence that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is being used to run a child sex trafficking ring. But there are some very strange connections between Comet Ping Pong Pizza and a second pizza place 2 doors over, Besta Pizza, and the accusations of pedophilia. Now, this is where things start to get strange when you research this story. Now, to begin, I need to show you a 2007 unclassified FBI document. That document, according to the FBI, contains commonly used symbols by pedophiles to express their preference in children. I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle. Also, Comet Ping Pong, owned by Alphantis, is the place where a number of performance artists perform regularly. Two of the groups that perform there, who you can see advertised, by the way, on this Comet Ping Pong poster, include a group called Heavy Breathing and another group called Sex Stains. Well, if you check out the YouTube videos by these bands, Heavy Breathing has songs that do joke about pedophilia, and the band Sex Stains has a video that includes, and you see it right there, that same boy lover symbol. It's nearly identical to the one that the FBI does say is a pedophile code symbol for boy love.
So again, how much of a devout coincidence theorist do you have to be to say, oh, that's just all coincidental? Every pizza place has that. Doesn't every pizza place have those kinds of logos and these kinds of bands performing this kind of material? I mean, when you go to Pizza Hut, that's all the same stuff, right? I mean, so it's totally innocent, because and even if that were true and every pizza place did do that, I mean, wouldn't that raise an eyebrow? But to pretend and hallucinate that this is all above board, like, how much of a clueless bootlicker do you have to be to pretend and hallucinate that this is all innocent?
As I said, there are some strange things there. As for the owner of the pizza place, James Alphantis, well, he was one time in a relationship with David Brock, who ran Media Matters for America. Well, since Pizzagate began to blow up online, he has made his Instagram profile, Jimmy Comet, private.
You know what's kind of funny? The Media Matters, so like if you're the accused, you're just going to get your buddy on Media Matters to declare this all fake news. I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Anybody think that's kind of funny? So a watchdog journalism organization that supposedly is all about fair and balanced coverage and exposing disinfo, misinfo, and fake news, that's your body. That's the body of the accused. So the accused is going to use his body to just discredit all of this legitimate evidence. And nobody raises an eyebrow. It's about to get even more coincidental for the people new to this story.
But an archive search of Instagram reveals a number of strange photographs and words with strange and disturbing images associated with them. Look, to the point where we can't show you those pictures. We're not even going to describe them to you because some viewers would find it too disturbing to share on TV. Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago. He was referred to by the judge as a serial child molester.
Again, I mean, this is all coincidental. Doesn't everybody have friends like this getting sentenced for these kinds of crimes, right? I mean, all coincidental, nothing to see here.
According to the Washington Post, visitors to Tony Podesta's home in Falls Church got an eyeful when they walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers in their parents' suburban homes. And to be clear, that just begins to scratch the surface of how strange some of this stuff is. And bear in mind, we can't get into a lot of the real details of it because of the limits on broadcasting this on television. But it is some very strange stuff. Now keep in mind, again, there is no proof here that there is a child sex ring being operated out of a DC pizza parlor. Investigators have...
The other thing the brain dead don't really realize, if there was definitive proof released to the public, I mean, obviously there'd be arrests already going on. So, like, what level of mental disability does one have to think, like, definitive 100% proof, right? I mean, this is all damning evidence, but it's not irrefutable. Theoretically, you could say if they're all mentally ill, making jokes and hiring these sick bands because they maybe all want to do this stuff, but they don't actually do it. Like, I guess, I mean, I don't know how somebody would defend this. I'm guessing that's how a lawyer might try to defend it. They're all joking. They're all just mentally ill and joking. Now, to physically, like, what would you need? You would need, physical transport or documented video evidence, which I think they actually do have that, but maybe at the time it wasn't released to the public. I don't want to really check, but they said there's a ton of videos in the new release of the documents. But here's another, just again tracing all of this and how it was presented in the media. So this is the guy who's debunking the theories. So again, the coincidence theorists who just pretend Pizzagate was debunked. Like, was it Brian Callen melting down over Pizzagate being debunked, which is a big red flag as well. And actually, I didn't even know this. Brian Callen was apparently Me Too'd by 4 women 5 years ago. I didn't even know about that. So, Jeranism, of all people, actually had. He talked about that. I'm trying to get the exact clip. I think it might be here. Just give me a second here. Yeah, just give me a second here. I'm going to get the clip of Brian Callen, because the way he became unhinged over Pizzagate was kind of interesting. But this is the guy that debunked Pizzagate. Now he's put away. This is the ABC News reporter. And as is the case with a lot of alleged debunkings, it all goes, this is, he was arrested 2023, sentenced to 6 years 2023, James Gordon Meek. But like always, like he just said it was debunked. There was no actual evidence of debunking, but all of the goofs, the coincidences, they just ran with it because, oh, some ABC News reporter declared it debunked, therefore it was actually debunked. And why? Is there a conflict of interest? Because if he's involved in all of it, of course, he would try to pretend it was debunked to shut it down so nobody would look at him. I'm just pulling up the Brian Callen clip, because Brian Callen's always been a goof. I don't know, like he's gotten into some conspiracy stuff. Does his father work for the Council of Foreign Relations? Is that what that was? Like, who's familiar with Brian Callen? Like the goof that was on Joe Rogan a lot of times? Yeah, I said Jeranism. He actually did a video on Brian Callen and Pizzagate specifically, believe it or not. Believe it or not. This was 7 years ago. August 31st, 2018, Jeranism, or actually, no, this was re-uploaded. Okay. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Welcome, Sarah. All right. Yeah, no, nobody missed anything. We just kind of cut out, but looks like we're back. No surprise. This stream is I would probably guess it's gonna get shut down before the end of this because I think I have some receipts I don't think anybody's put up before. So, but anyway, let's go in order. Here's the Brian Callen clip, and watch this goof's reaction. Does anybody know if this goof put out anything regarding this since? So here's just his attitude when I think somebody brought up Flat Earth, but
You're not a scientist. So when
no,
so why should you listen?
Brennan.
You're not a historian
no,
either.
Definitely
You're
don't
not
listen
a historian
to me.
either.
Definitely don't listen to me, my friend. But
we do.
But well, because
you can't just say if you're not a historian.
No, this is
or
very
a scientist.
no. This is very.
That's what you just said.
This is a very important distinction. This is a very important distinction. Excuse me. When all of the science, when I'm an educated guy who's been alive for 50 years, and there's no scientist, and I mean there's no one who has been alive, who is even a writer, who is a scientist,
that's not true.
who is an astronaut, who works at NASA, who would ever say that the Earth is flat. We put that to rest. We put that to rest. Even when Christopher Columbus was alive, most people who are educated.
NASA? What is NASA? Nassau Coliseum?
Knew the Earth was not flat. We put this.
I'm with you, brother.
So when
all our
listeners,
listeners, I'd say 99% of our listeners are with you.
I don't know. You're putting me on the same level as that moron. You can't.
Now, the goof next to him is Brendan Schwab. Or are you asking who this is? This is Brian Callen, not... this is Brian Callen, the goof that was on Joe Rogan a number of times.
I can't do that.
I can do that.
No, you cannot. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I wonder who you got that from.
Oh, I'd love to hear, Eddie.
Are you familiar with it?
Pizzagate?
Yes.
No, but sounds
Yeah, no,
dope.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
You know,
But
I've never
is-
heard of it. Please
yes, I
explain
do.
to me.
So-
I'm not going to explain it. I'm not even going to get into it, but
It's
all I'm
such
going to
bullshit,
say.
Eddie, before you go into it,
Pizzagate?
it's been debunked. It's the biggest bunch
It's
of
been
bullshit.
debunked?
Dude,
Oh, hell no.
Eddie,
Oh, my
it's the
God.
biggest. It's fake news. They
Fake?
proved it's fake news.
And look how triggered, like, look at the soy and the estrogen dripping through this guy's face. And how triggered, how insta-triggered he got over this. And again, debunked by this guy.
And if you believe that, it's ridiculous. It's the big. So the Democratic Party, the power structure in the Democratic Party are pedophiles, and they all communicate with each other with those secret paddles. Is this what we're going to go
We're
into?
gonna pop off like
Eddie,
this?
Eddie,
We're
look
gonna
at
kick
me.
the community
Eddie,
off like this?
It was proven to be a horseshit story. If you buy into it, the joke is on you. I'm telling you. It was proven to be a horseshit story. It was proven to be a horseshit story. It was proven to be a horseshit story. It was proven to be a horseshit story.
Was it? By Media Matters? By, the people involved? By the guards guarding themselves, saying it was BS? But they just declared that it was fake news. They just declared it was debunked without actually debunking anything. And goof, so either Callen is just some kind of brain-dead goof who took it on face value on the idiot box, or potentially, I don't know, I'm not going to say he's involved, like, directly participating, but is his father Council of Foreign Relations? His father is somewhere up there. And perhaps he has knowledge of this. And so he's just trying to shut it down. Even if he's not directly involved as like a participant, if he has knowledge of it and he wants to shut it down because of his father or whatever other connections, he sure is acting like, look how unhinged he is over it. Like, if you really think it's just fake nonsense, would you get this unhinged?
If you buy into it, the joke is on you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Did you hear what? That's very unbelievable. It's incredible.
So what is the? So are you saying what? Are you saying that the power
Listen,
structure
you know
are
what?
pedophiles?
This is what I'm saying.
Come on.
This is what I'm.
This is ridiculous.
What?
But hold on a second.
This is what I'm saying. That shit's real now.
It's a fake
And-
news story, Eddie.
Dude,
It's a fake news story. Every credible news organization's at
Like
her
who?
word. Every credible news organization's at
Like
her
who?
word.
You mean the Podesta's friends? at Media Matters with their connections at all of the news organizations? Those people? I mean, the goofery of Callan is insane.
It's
CNN?
all bullshit.
CNN?
Like, I don't know.
Washington
let's
Post?
call
Where do you get your
Short
news, Brian?
or the
Where do
New
you
York
get your news,
Times or
Brian?
And Joe Rogan finds all of this just absolutely hilarious, like the goofery of Callan. I mean, I think he would probably think it was weird the way Callan reacted. I should have asked Eddie Bravo about Callan when I did the interview with Eddie, because Callan was always really weird.
Economists take both sides. Take the right and the left. It's a joke. It was a joke.
Wow.
It
All
was
I
a
gotta
joke.
say is wow.
So Eddie,
What was the joke? The debunking? Because they didn't actually debunk anything. That was the joke.
so the power structure.
You think it's a joke?
Eddie,
Too
the
much.
power structure are all pedophiles? What are you talking about?
Hey,
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Man love? So the power
Hey, listen,
the power
listen,
structure
listen,
are
Brian's
pedophiles.
Brian,
Brian's
It's a
coming in
joke.
Brian,
It's a
have you-
joke.
Have you seen the
hot.
documentary Conspiracy of Silence? Have you seen that?
Sure haven't, buddy.
You still, of course you
Sure
haven't.
haven't. I don't get
'Cause
my
you're
news
so
from
far on the other
YouTube.
side.
Brian Callan thinks Conspiracy of Silence is YouTube. I mean, like, how brain dead can you get? Like, he just assumed it was a YouTube documentary, as if there are no accurate videos on YouTube. I mean, there's a ton of videos that align with whatever Callan believes, but so according to him, that's all fake. And what was the full story? So that was the 1994 documentary that was banned and unaired. Was it a BBC History Channel co-production? Oh no, it was CBC. It was No, not CBC. It was yeah, it doesn't say. It was independently. Okay, it's ITV. Is it ITV? Either way, yeah, it was ITV. And I don't know if BBC or History Channel were like planning. I forget what the release pipeline was, but they did not air it. But anyway, obviously, Callan clueless about that, as he is clueless about everything.
I don't get my news from YouTube. I get my news from
CNN?
credible,
Washington Post?
credible news organizations.
Like friends of the Podestas that don't want to implicate their buddy at the pizza bar. That's where Callan gets it. And look how triggered the goof is. Look at the goof's face. Look at this goof melting down over something he calls a joke. Like, who melts down this hard over some kind of theory they consider is silly or nonsense?
From independent lines of inquiry.
Hey, Joe, can you do me a favor?
Independent? He just assumed it was debunked. Like, how is that independent?
Since
Okay,
I'm outside
Brandon
with you?
Shaw.
What is Pizzagate?
Okay.
Okay, so interesting. So Callan's meltdown was very telling here, though. I mean, look at this unhinged goof just going off. And again, the guy that allegedly debunked it by just declaring the magic words debunked, that was the extent of the investigation. That's who Callan took on blind faith, allegedly. Unless, of course, he's just downplaying it on purpose, and that's his role because his pops is counsel foreign relations. All right, next up, we're going to look at the updated Ben Swann video that just came out recently.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane
There he is.
that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade
Very fair he is.
that Pizzagate is real.
Still fair he is.
Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that to what we have now learned.
Pizzagate, it became himself, or
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor, nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with
I mean, how often has CNN been sued now for, like, because they're claiming this is all fake, pretending it's all fake and debunked. So it seems like they knew the whole time it was real. But even if they didn't, I mean, just to be to be that inaccurate, I mean, that's just wild.
WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least.
Man, he's got all this music in the background. Obviously, fair he is.
References to pizza, and to pizza handkerchiefs, and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people. Some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use to speak in coded language.
That is both sick and interesting at the same time, because they're almost like, not necessarily CIs, but they're criminals who know how that specific type of crime is executed and communicated, which is interesting, because I guess coincidence theorists are going to call them wrong too.
And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice their logo. After pizza,
Madman for claiming that years ago I was called a dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman for claiming that pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do.
Well, not only that, but the FBI and actual law enforcement that investigates these people also, that's what's known.
Which brings us back to this new Epstein release, because in it, the word pizza is mentioned 911 times.
Okay, I don't like that number. Oh man, I didn't know the exact number. I thought it said over 900. He's stating here with definitive certainty it was exactly 9/11. Oh man, that's kind of a problem.
That's right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word pizza is often paired with grape soda.
Yeah, QCZ says 4chan does it again. And again, like, everybody makes fun of 4chan. They call it crazy nonsense. What is the accuracy of 4chan versus mainstream media? We should do a podcast on that.
In bizarre contexts within emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose names have been mostly redacted. So here's one. Quote, "This is better than a Chinese cookie. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand." Or this one, "Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?" Or this one from 2014, "Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you. He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this," with a little winking emoji. All of the emails that I just shared with you.
Yeah, who would put a winking emoji on something as innocuous as finding a place to eat and I know you're in the know on this. That's kind of weird.
Were from 2014, right about the same time period of the John Podesta emails that WikiLeaks published and started the entire Pizzagate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his only sentence.
But as we pointed out, being involved with the Podesta brothers, again, yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time, there was a lot of bizarre communication.
Man, this audio is just, I don't know why there's so much music in the background here. Fair he is.
Including an email from John Podesta to his brother Tony. The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber." That email got really no attention 10 years ago, but today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention, as it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
To the fallout from the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest and what the Justice Department says is the last batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
Friday's release of millions of pages related to Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic. They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They called it a conspiracy. They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Well, 10 years later, no investigation ever took place. It's a failure of a complicit government and also of a corporate media that didn't just ignore this evil. They helped to cover it up and keep it operating in the shadows. See, by refusing to engage honestly in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation, by silencing questions instead of asking them, they created the very environment where this evil could thrive. See, they didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting,
Again, fair he is, but he's making some real good points here, isn't he?
was false. I was censored because it was dangerous. Dangerous to narratives, dangerous to reputations, dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog. See, the unspoken rule was simple. Some questions are not allowed. Not because they're wrong, no, but because they lead to the truth. And the truth? Pizzagate, at least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real. Remember how we started. Epstein is Pizzagate. But the other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
So there you have it.